I died choking on my own blood, the metallic tang flooding my mouth as Derek's face, my husband, my partner, my everything, hovered above me like a goddamned eclipse. He'd whispered, "I'm sorry," while plunging the knife deeper. But his eyes, they screamed victory. And just like that, the world went black, until it didn't. And I woke up gasping in a body that wasn't broken yet. 10 years in the past, with a taste of cheap coffee instead of death on my tongue. It was 2015, and I was Evelyn Harper again, 25 and fresh out of grad school, staring at the cracked ceiling of my shitty one-bedroom in downtown Chicago. The alarm clock blinked 7:14 a.m., the same one I'd smashed in a fit of rage back then now, or whenever the hell then was. My heart hammered like it remembered the blade, the betrayal, the way the cops had ruled it a tragic accident because Derek was too charming, too connected. But I remembered. God, did I remember? I bolted upright, sheets tangled around my legs, and puked into the trash can by the bed. Not from sickness, from the flood of it all crashing back. The promotion I'd slaved for at Vanguard Media, the glittering news empire where I'd clawed my way from intern to junior editor. The late nights fact-checking exposés on corporate greed, the ones that made CEOs sweat. And Derek, with his boyish grin and Ivy League polish, who'd swept in as my mentor, then my lover, then my executioner. He'd kill me over that report. The one I'd buried myself in for months, a whistleblower piece on how Vanguard's top brass had rigged ad deals with Big Pharma, funneling kickbacks that poison communities with faulty drugs. I'd found the smoking gun, a leaked email chain proving the CEO, Harlan Voss, had personally greenlit the cover-up. But HR had gotten to it first. They censored one line from my draft, the direct link to Voss's offshore account. For legal reasons, they'd said. Bullshit. That line would have torched the company overnight. Instead, it torched me. Derek, Voss's golden boy by then, had fed me to the wolves. Planted doubts, whispered that I was unstable, then staged the suicide when I wouldn't back down. Knife to the gut in our kitchen, made to look like I'd slipped on a rug. The media ate it up, ambitious reporters' tragic end. No one dug deeper because no one wanted to. And Derek, he got the promotion I died for. Now, here I was, reborn or reliving or whatever cosmic joke this was, with a second shot. My phone buzzed on the nightstand, text from my old roommate, Sarah, nagging me about rent. I ignored them, stumbling to the bathroom mirror. Same hazel eyes, same faint scar on my chin from a childhood bike crash. But sharper now, fueled by hate. You're not dying this time, Evie, I muttered to my reflection. You're ending them. I dressed in the power suit I'd worn to my first big meeting, tailored black pants, crisp white blouse, heels that clicked like warning shots. No more playing nice. Vanguard's headquarters loomed in my mind, a glass monolith on the loop, where secrets festered like mold. I grabbed my laptop, the one with the embryonic files of that report, and headed out. The L train rattled me downtown, commuters oblivious to the ghost in their midst. By 9 a.m., I was at my desk in the bullpen, the air thick with coffee and desperation. First order, reconnaissance. I logged in, heart pounding as the system whirred to life. The files were there, untouched, drafts from a naive Evelyn who'd trusted the system. I skimmed them, the bile rising again. Harlan Voss, silver-haired shark in a $5,000 suit, had built his empire on lies. And Derek, fresh-faced junior exec, already Voss's shadow. They'd meet today. I knew the pitch for the pharma deal. In my first life, that's where it started. Me overhearing, digging too deep. Hey, Harper, you're early for once. Sarah plopped down across from me, her red curls a chaotic halo. She was the one bright spot back then, the friend who'd cried at my funeral. Now, she'd be my anchor. Or my first test. Yeah, big day, I said, forcing a smile that felt like glass. Got a lead on that ad scam story. Her eyes lit up. The one with the drugs?
Spill. Not yet.
Need to verify.
Lie.
I was done verifying. I needed to weaponize. By noon, I was in the archives basement, dust motes dancing in the fluorescent hum. Old emails, buried memos, Vanguard's digital graveyard. My fingers flew over the keys, pulling threads. There it was, the first whisper of the pharma rig. Dated last week. Voss's assistant forwarding a consult to Derek. They were already in bed together. A shadow fell over the screen. Evelyn, what are you doing down here? I froze. Derek.
25.
All earnest blue eyes and tousled hair. Leaning against a shelf like he owned the shadows. In my gut, the knife twisted phantom style. Just research, I said coolly, closing the file. No warmth this time. No flirtatious banter. For the whistleblower piece. His brow furrowed. That practice concern. Alone? Let me help. We're a team. Right? Team. The words soured in my mouth. I'm good. Solo op. He lingered. Too close. Cologne sharp as regret. You seem
off.
Everything okay? I met his gaze.
Searching for the monster beneath.
It was there. Flickering, a greed that would bloom into murder. Peachy. Just chasing truth. He chuckled. Low and warm. Truth's overrated in this game. Play smart. Evie. As he walked away, I gripped the desk. Smart. That's what he'd called it when he gutted me.
But now?
I'd play dirty. That night, in my apartment, I plotted. A notebook splayed open. Targets. Timelines.
Traps.
Voss at the top. Untouchable kingpin. Family man facade hiding a fortune built on graves. Derek. His puppeteer in training. Ambitious enough to kill for scraps. And HR switch. Melinda Graves. The censor queen who'd blacked out my line with a smile, and a company policy memo. The secret they'd buried. Not just kickbacks, but lives. Faulty antidepressants pushed on low-income clinics. Suicides spiking 40% in test markets. I'd crunched the numbers then. I'd do it again. But leak-proof this time. No internal reports. Straight to the streets, indie journalists, Reddit threads, anonymous drops. But revenge wasn't clean. It itched under my skin, demanding controversy. Do I seduce Derek early? Twist the knife in his heart first? Frame Voss for embezzlement? Watch his empire crumble? Or burn it all? Take the fall myself? Decisions that would paint me as villain or vigilante. America loved its anti-heroes, but hated its whistleblowers. One wrong move, and I'd be the crazy bitch again. Week 1 blurred into a frenzy. I fed Sarah half-truths, built her as an ally without spilling the reborn bomb. This story could end careers, I told her over takeout Thai. You in? She grinned.
Fierce.
To the mat.
Babe.
At work. I played the eager beaver, volunteering for the pharma audit team, cozying up to sources. Derek noticed. Invited me to drinks after a late edit session. To celebrate your killer instinct, he toasted at the dive bar, our knees brushing under the table. In my first life, I'd melted.
Now.
I sipped my whiskey neat, eyes locked. To instincts. They never lie. He leaned in, breath warm. What's yours saying about me? Trouble. I smiled, but it was a blade. Let him chase. Let him think he had me. By week 2, I had dirt, Voss's emails to a Cayman shell company, Derek's sign-off on falsified trials. I stashed copies on an encrypted drive, off-site. But paranoia gnawed. Was this real, or some dying hallucination? I tested it, tattooed a tiny star on my wrist, the kind I'd always wanted but never got. Pain bloomed real as blood.
Solid.
The first strike landed subtle, an anonymous tip to a podcast buddy from J-School. Vanguard's pharma push, follow the money. It aired Friday night. Ripples hitting Monday. Voss called a war room meeting. Face thunderous. Evelyn. Your team's audit flagged discrepancies, he barked, pointing at me across the conference table. Suits nodded like bobbleheads. Derek shot me a wink. Discrepancies? I echoed, voice steady. More like fraud.
Sir.
I've got prelims. Melinda Graves, perched like a vulture in pearls, interjected. Prelims are just that.
Dear.
No need to alarm. Alarm saves lives, I shot back. Gasps rippled. Controversial? Hell yes. But the room crackled, first crack in the facade. Derek pulled me aside after. Bold move. Voss is pissed. Good. Truth should piss people off. He cupped my elbow, thumb stroking. Careful. This place eats the bold. I pulled away, heart a war drum. Then let it choke. Nights bled into strategy. I hit the gym, pounding bags until my knuckles split, prepping for the fight I knew was coming. Sarah noticed the bruises. Boyfriend material or bar fight? Both. I lied. Truth, ghosts. Month 1 peaked at the company gala. Black tie schmooze fest at the Art Institute. I wore red, blood on silk and cornered sources. A tipsy exec spilled. Voss's kids on the board now. Nepotism City. Derek found me by the Monet. Champagne flute in hand. You clean up lethal. Dance? I asked. Because why not twist the screw? We swayed. His hand low on my back. Mine on his shoulder, intimate as a threat. You're different, he murmured. Fiercer. Life's short, I whispered, breath ghosting his ear. Make every second count. His eyes darkened. Desire flickering. Good. Let him fall.
But the hook sank deeper that night.
Back at my place, his idea. My trap, I let him kiss me. Hands roaming, but stopped short. Not yet. Trust first. He laughed. Frustrated. Trust? In this town. Especially here. I watched him dress. Memorizing the scars. Appendix at 12. Lacrosse / at 18. Vulnerabilities for later. The leak escalated. My podcast drop birthed a ProPublica sniff. Articles questioning Vanguard's ethics. Stock dipped 2%. Voss raged in memos. Root out saboteurs.
Me?
I doubled down. Hacked the HR server, Basic phishing. Child's play with my foreknowledge. There it was, Melinda's edit log on my old draft. The censored line. Voss receives 15% from Apex Pharma/Fund.
Proof.
I printed it, hid it under floorboards. But the noose tightened. Derek cornered me in the stairwell. Heard you're feeding the wolves. Bad idea. Evie. Whose side are you on? I challenged, chest tight. Yours.
Lie.
Slick as oil.
But Voss.
He's family. Family. The word ignited. In my death throes. He'd called me that before the twist. Family doesn't censor truth, I hissed. It faces it. He grabbed my arm. Grip bruising. Drop it. For us.
Us.
The fantasy he'd sold. I wrenched free. Storming out. First blood. Mine. But drawn on purpose. Week 5. And the tension coiled like a spring in a trap. Chicago's November wind howled outside my window, mirroring the storm inside Vanguard. Whispers slithered through the halls, layoffs looming if the stock didn't rebound. I thrived on it. Caffeine and spite my fuel. Sarah and I holed up in her loft, piecing a shadow network, freelance coders for deep dives, ex-employees for grudges. This is Watergate for millennials, she joked. But her eyes were serious. She didn't know the half, that I was avenging a death she thought was a decade away. My controversial call, go public partial. Not the full Voss nuke, but a teaser, the pharma trial fudges, anonymized. I posted it to a burner Medium account. Insider's lament. Views spiked overnight. Twitter, X back then, lit up with Vanguard lies. Derek texted at 2 a.m. We need to talk.
Now.
I met him at our old spot. A greasy spoon on Wabash. Dawn breaking gray. He slid into the booth. Hollow-eyed. That was you. Truth doesn't sleep, I said, stirring sugar into black coffee. It's suicide. Voss is circling. His hand covered mine warm, pleading. In another life, I'd have believed. Then let him come. I pulled back. You chose him once. Don't this time. His jaw tightened. What the hell does that mean? Means I know you.
Derek.
Better than you think. He searched my face, unease cracking his charm. You're scaring me. Good. I stood, tossing a 20. Fear's the start of wisdom. Back at work, Melinda summoned me to her glass airy, HR's throne room, overlooking the loop's chaos. She was all Botox and brooches, files fanned like a poker hand. Evelyn. Darling.
Sit.
I perched, defiant. That Medium post? Naughty. She tapped a printout. We trace IPs. You know.
Bluff.
But close enough to sweat. Journalism's not a game. Melinda. It's duty. Duty. She laughed, tinkling. Duty got your predecessor fired. Loose lips. Predecessor. Code for the last whistleblower, who'd quit after a breakdown. I leaned in. Censoring lines doesn't make them vanish. It just buries bodies. Her smile froze. Careful.
Girl.
Ambition's a double-edged sword. Sharpens with use. I rose, leaving her stewing. The backlash hit fast. My email flooded. Threats from burner accounts. Loyal colleagues icing me out. Sarah pulled me aside in the break room. They're gunning for you.
Bail. No.
My voice cracked. First lip. This ends it all. She hugged me fierce. Then I'm your Watson. That night, alone, doubt crept. Was revenge worth the ruin? I'd die again. Maybe, car accident, poison coffee. But the scar on my wrist said no retreat. I drafted the full exposé and censored. Voss named. Derek implicated as signatory. Scheduled autopost to The Intercept in 48 hours. Irreversible. Derek escalated. Flowers at my door. Notes, fight with me, not against. I burned them in the sink. Flames dancing like accusations. Then the call, Voss himself. Voice gravel over silk. Miss Harper. A word, my office. For PM. He filled the doorway. Monogrammed cuffs glinting. Impressive work. Destructive, but impressive. Sir. I gestured to the chair he ignored. Let's cut the dance.
Drop the story.
Join me instead, senior editor. Equity stake.
Bribe. Classic.
In my first life, I'd wavered. He'd dangled it post-Derek.
Now?
Equity in blood money? His eyes narrowed. Charm shedding. Idealism's cute at your age. Reality? It bites. I've felt the teeth. Slip, too close to truth. He tilted his head. Metaphor. Experience. I slid the printout across his Cayman email. Blurred just enough. He paled, then laughed. Forgeries. Child's play. Not when verified.
Lie.
But it landed. Name your price. Justice. Controversial? In boardrooms. Suicidal. He leaned close. Cologne choking. Walk away. Evelyn. Or we make you. Threat veiled as advice. I smiled. Try. He left. I locked the door. Hands shaking. Dialed Sarah. It's war. Climax brewed that Friday. The quarterly board mixer at Voss's Gold Coast penthouse. Invite only. Power players swilling scotch amid skyline views. I crashed. Sarah's +1. Black dress sheathed like armor. Derek spotted me first. Across the marble expanse. Jaw-dropping.
Evie?
How? Surprise. I clinked his glass. Miss me? Voss held court by the fireplace. Melinda at his elbow. Nepotism spawn. A trust fund twerp named Landon fawning. Pharma execs mingled. Deals whispered. I circulated. Recorder app humming in my clutch. Snippets. The trials? Massaged. But who cares? Laughter like knives. Derek cornered me on the balcony. Wind whipping. This is insane.
Leave.
With you? I mocked. Like old times? What old times? Frustration cracked him. The ones where you stabbed me in the back. Words out before I could cage them. He recoiled. Jesus. Evie. Therapy. Try memory. I stepped closer. Voice low. Kitchen floor. 2025. Ring any bells? His face drained. You're drunk. Sober as your lies. I pressed a thumb drive into his palm. Dummy file.
Bait.
Read it. Then decide. He pocketed it. Eyes wild. If you're playing me, always was. I turned, re-entering the fray. Inside. Melinda intercepted. Wineglass trembling. Slumming with the help. Exposing it. I nodded to Voss. That line you blacked? It's free now. Her pearls clicked. Lies don't fly. Truth does. I raised my voice. Just enough. Heads turned. Ask Harlan about Apex Slush.
Gasps.
Voss whirled. Face apoplectic. Harper. Chaos erupted. Accusations flying. Phones out. Derek shoved through, grabbing my arm. What the fuck? Truth. Darling. I yanked free, hurling the real bomb, shouting the censored line verbatim. Voss receives 15% from Apex Pharma Slush Fund. Silence shattered into roar. Pharma suits bolted. Landon sputtered. Voss lunged, but security, mine, tipped off Sarah, swarmed. Cops? Not yet. But sirens wailed distant, my anonymous 911 echoing. Derek pinned me against the railing outside, breath ragged. You just destroyed everything. You're everything. I need him, hard. Controversial as hell, dropping him wheezing. Mine's just starting. As blue lights flashed below, I slipped away, heart thundering victory. The post auto-launched midnight. Full exposé. Attachments. My byline bold. By dawn, Vanguard trended. FBI raids. Stock crashed 20%. Voss arrested at home. Pajamas to cuffs. Melinda lawyered up, spilling to save skin. But Derek? He vanished. Texts, how did you know? Unanswered. Week 6. I holed up in Sarah's. News a blitz. Hero or homewrecker? Headlines debated my stunt. Protests outside Vanguard. Victims' families thanking me on CNN. Controversial decisions? Check. I'd flirted with illegality. Risked allies. But the itch eased. Revenge tasted like ash. But clean. Then the knock. Derek, disheveled, at Sarah's door.
Evie.
Please. She let him in. I faced him in the living room. Coffee cold. What? It was you. The knife.
But.
I didn't. In this life. Phantom. Or warning. You would. Again. He dropped to knees. Tears streaking. The drive, it's future shit. Emails from 2025.
How?
Doesn't matter. But it did. My rebirth bleeding timelines? Forgive me. He clutched my hand. I love you. Lie or glitch. My gut screamed run. But the twist, I saw it then, the fork. Mercy. Or end. His plea hung in the air like smoke from a dud grenade. And for a split second, the old Evelyn, the one who'd loved him blind, stirred. But the scar on my wrist burned, a talisman against fools. Sarah hovered in the kitchen doorway, phone in hand, ready to dial. Evie, I shook my head.
Out. Derek. Now.
He rose.
Shattered.
This isn't over. I know what you are.
Dead.
I snapped. Try again. Door slammed. Silence crashed. Sarah exhaled. Boys unhinged. Cops. Not yet. I sank onto the couch, the weight of it all pressing. The exposé had detonated. Vanguard's board dissolved. Voss in federal holding. Melinda flipping for immunity. Suicides linked to the drugs? Class action stacking like dominoes. My name? Front page vigilante. Subpoenas incoming. Happy ending? Or pyre? But the twist nod. That drive I'd given him. Dummy. Yes. But I'd loaded a real future email, his confession to Voss. Plotting my accident.
How?
I'd written it from memory. Time-stamped ahead. Glitch in the matrix. or my subconscious weapon. Either way, it spooked him into flight. Next days blurred. Lawyers circling. Offers pouring. The Guardian wanted my memoir. 60 Minutes booked. I dodged. Holing with Sarah. Plotting phase 2. Revenge wasn't one swing, it was a barrage. Voss down. But his network? Pharma tentacles. Lobbyists. The cops who'd buried my autopsy. Controversial pivot. I went rogue. No more suits. Dyed my hair platinum. Contacts turning eyes ice blue. Ghost of Evelyn past. Sarah fronted as me for depositions. I work shadows. First target. Derek's bolt hole. Tracked his card to a seedy Evanston motel. The kind with neon flickering, no vacancy, like a bad omen. I waited in the lot. Rental Civic idling. Rain sheeting windshield. Midnight. He emerged, duffel slung. Glancing over shoulder. Paranoia suited him. I followed. Wipers slashing. To O'Hare's long-term garage. Flight to Miami? Cayman Connect. Bastard fleeing to Voss's slush paradise. I tailed on foot. Heels ditched for sneakers. Heart a jackhammer. He checked in at a private charter desk. Ghost flight. Cash deal. Harper, the clerk said. No questions. Derek boarded. I sweet-talked a mechanic buddy from J-school days. Hiding cargo. For the story. Insane, he grumbled. But stashed me in a crate amid luggage. Turbulence later equaled vomit. But Miami's tarmac greeted like freedom's flip side, humid. Electric. They, Derek and a Voss fixer. Burly and linen hit a Bayside safe house. Art Deco relic with guards like linebackers. I scoped from mangroves. Mosquito bitten. Phone jury-rigged for signal. Inside. Frantic calls. Shredders humming. Derek pacing. Face gaunt. She knew everything. Like a goddamn prophet. Fixer laughed. Voss says eliminate. My blood iced. Round 2. Night 2. I struck. No guns, to American Psycho. Lockpick from a Key West contact. Zip ties in pocket. Slipped in via service door. Shadows my ally. Kitchen first. Guards coffee laced with sleepers. OTC heavy. They slumped by dawn patrol. Upstairs. Derek alone. Laptop glowing. He typed furiously, confession? Blackmail? Evelyn. He spun. No scream, resignation. Miss me? I zip-tied his wrists. Chair-bound. Rain lashed windows. Thunder punctuation.
How?
Sweat beaded. Practice. I snatched the laptop. Draft email to feds. Spilling all. Redemption play? You win, he whispered. Kill me. Tempting. Controversial apex. Mercy is murder.
But no.
Live with it. I forwarded his draft anonymously, then smashed the drive. Rot knowing I spared you. He sobbed as I left, broken man. Not monster.
Yet.
Back stateside. Fallout crested. Derek's leak amplified mine. Voss's empire vaporized. Pharma execs indicted. Victims compensated. Headlines hailed the woman who wouldn't die. I surfaced in Chicago. Platinum shed. Evelyn reborn proper. But the twist, the real gut punch, hit at Sarah's farewell brunch. 6 months post-chaos. Sun streaming her loft. Mimosas bubbling. To new beginnings, she toasted. My phone buzzed, unknown. Video attachment. I clicked grainy. My kitchen. 2025. Knife plunging. Derek's face. But audio looped. For us. Evie. Finally free.
Wait.
Us. Flash. Buried memory. Not suicide staging mutual. I'd uncovered his affair. Confronted. In rage. We'd fought. I'd grabbed the knife first. He twisted it back. Lover's end. Ruled accident because truth hurt more. Reborn lie? Or half-truth? I'd killed two, in passion's blur. Nausea hit. Sarah frowned. Babe. Ghosts. I deleted. Stood. But mine now. Outside. Loop bustled, life unpaused. No happy ever after. No tidy tragedy. Just Evelyn. Scarred twice. Walking free. Revenge? It mended nothing. But it carved space. For stories unwritten. Truths uncensored. I hailed a cab. Destination newsroom. Not Vanguard's corpse. But a startup desk. Blank page waiting. Next round. I murmured to the mirror. America thrived on second acts, mine. Unscripted. The end? Hell no. Just the hook.